Come take a look through the orange lens, my friends. How you doing, guys? Use the force. Positive mental attitude. But it's balance, right? It's not fake it till you make it. It's grow until you fly. That's how we do. So, yeah, apparently I might slightly sound like a children's presenter. I was talking to my mate yesterday and she said, she laughed, she said sometimes you sound like a Blue Peter presenter, and I did laugh. Because we were discussing, and it's what I want to talk about today, sort of in a more broader sense, is sort of communication. And obviously it's, you know, like my mum used to say to me, you know, communication is key. You know, it is the key that opens up many doors in society, right? So especially if we're talking about things that are important, we want to have an open conversation, right? Like when I talk with my family or my friends, I'm a lot more brutal. Like I'm a lot more like just bam, bam, pow, pow. Like I don't cut too many punches. I cut a few, but not too many. And when I talk, say on camera, obviously my voice can go like I'm animated, and I actually restrain that so that I can try and keep myself, or not even try, just so that I can, you know, keep myself, so I can work in the practice of keeping myself, because I'm always learning. I'm not a master, right? So continuing in the practice of keeping myself in a sort of like just a calmer state for like conversation and for deliverance, and just, you know, it's got many applications. But you know, self-development, man, it's worth the gig. It's worth it, you know. It's basically like what I discovered was it's a twofold journey, right? Self-development is kind of like this reworkings of the mind, the, you know, sort of analysis and sort of guidance, not control, I don't want to use that word, right? Guidance of emotions, more control with thought, but still an element of guidance, but more control. The mind is a dutiful servant, but a cruel master, right? And that saying is so powerful because it's so true. The mind needs to be a servant, really, in a way, really, because the mind out of control is terrible. But then it's the same with the feelings, right? If your feelings are just out of control, right, then they're also triggering reactions in you that you're not either dealing with, or like, you know, and you know, like I haven't figured all my triggers yet. I haven't worked on everything I've got to work on. Do you know what I mean? So I stand here still working. So yeah, man. So I slightly lost my thread there, but communication is the topic of the day. I'm with that. It's so, yeah, that's right. And I was saying self-development and the mind and the heart, control and guidance. So I think that there's also a spiritual element that will come with it. It did for me, and it does for, I think, pretty much anyone. Because when you take time, if you want to silence your mind, right? If you want to bring your mind to like no word chatter, right? You can create complete blackness, you know, and that's a practice within itself. Creating just a complete blackout in your mind, that's a hell of a practice, you know. You know, and holding it. Right, you can get an instant moment of blackness, but you hold that shit. Try and hold complete blackness for like 5-10 seconds. 10 seconds, complete blackness. I'm telling you. You know, strobes, light fade change, word tries to come in. There's a practice there, right? And it's worth it. And why is it worth it? Because fuck man, we need communication more than ever. So this internal development that I promote, right, self-awareness, right, self-development, self-progression, right, it's about refining, right? It's not like, fucking hell, there's something wrong with you. Like, no. I had that fucking told at me at school. They told me, oh, eventually chemical imbalance. Turns out when you look into the whole chemical imbalance bollocks, yes, I did that like I do on the new vaccines, right? New drugs being tested on people. But anyway, let's not sidetrack, because they told me I had a chemical imbalance, and it turns out that's a theory that wasn't even mass supported. It was pushed on a narrative. How about that? Look into it. So there's lots of things about our biological makeup that doesn't fit with the pharmaceutical drugs way of diagnosing and working with things. I'm not saying that Bill Gates, you know, monopolising the pharma industry and everything in it is a problem. But shit, you know, all the people he works for is. But I don't think any of that's like they're going to do what they're going to do, right? And they're only as powerful as they are powerful, right? People are only as powerful as people let them be, right? So if we gain our own strength, we gain our own power, we gain some wider information, we put ourselves in a position to make some shit hot decisions, and we can benefit us all more. And the more people doing that are joined together, the more. And the movements that are happening. Music video I did recently for the song Eye of the Watcher, right? Hop on YouTube, Eye of the Watcher. You can go into the links down in the description. In there's the link to the Soundcloud page. I'll have to put a link in there to the YouTube music playlist, because that's got the videos in it. So I should do that. I'll do that for this video. It'll be down there. And then if you want to, like, so if I'd go that way, that's wrong. This left and right backwards thing gets me a little bit. So on YouTube, there's a bump like button down there. On TikTok, there's a like button over there. On Instagram, there's a like button down there. And you know, we've got all types of buttons going on. You can hit them, you can subscribe to them, you can share them, you can go, oh, this nutter reckons that we really need change and it's worth taking a look inside ourselves for it as well. I mean, you know, it could be fun. I'm not crying about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've cried about many things, right? So I'm not sitting here with any high horse. But communication is key, Jonathan, as my mum would say to me. So I am bullish at the best, right? I've always been high octane energy, and so, you know, really not interrupting people takes a lot of work for me. My family, we'd interject words while each other's talking, so like it's either just like an acknowledgement or even just like an added point where you're agreeing. So they say something and you're like, yeah, with so and so and so and so, and they're like, yeah, blah, blah. And so we had like this sort of more intermingled talking. I'm not making excuses for myself, but it is real talk, right? Like me and my sister at some points would straight up be talking to each other and listening at the same time. Shit got weird. But it was beautiful. So I'm not like, I can interject and that interrupts people, and that's something I have to work on. I haven't been, I'll be honest with you. I'm like, so what's happening, right, is on the spot, just for the video, I'm raw trying to share like you know, where I could improve my communication, and B, testing the limit of yours maybe. and, you know, whatever else comes, because this is one of my videos, so who knows. But I like to test myself, so, and I'm happy to do that on camera, right? Like, well, how do I do that? Well, I'll look at myself and, you know, like I just did, you know, how I'm happy to just interject, right? That comes from like a natural communication with my family, but I do notice when I do it to people, it can trigger one of a few things, right? And for the health of conversation, it's not that handy, is it? You know? So there it is. I have that to watch. And who knows what else we might find. But I'm keen on challenging myself in a healthy way for a healthy outcome, right? It's not like, you know, I like arguing with myself. I don't like arguing with anyone. It bores me. I like conversing with people. I like talking with people, right? If we're putting across an argument, right, cool. But if we're arguing, like you're trying to tell me like I'm a bad person because I don't fucking agree with you, like that's some old shit, right? Like we've got to be moving past all the divisive tools. We've got to be looking at things really, I believe, in an age of fucking, you know, lockdowns and pandemics, you know, and nowadays, as the government, WHO, sorry, did change, you know, the private body that's largely funded by Bill Gates, but that's like, you know, this doesn't make any difference, does it? But you don't have to have anyone die for a pandemic, so, you know, there's a nice bit of communication. And part of, right, the issues I have when I communicate with people is because, like, I have dedicated time to gaining information, right? Like, I've spent my life gaining life experience, right? And I'll continue to do it, and I always want to grow that and XYZ. But, you know, the last, you know, 7-8 years and a bit, I've been, you know, knees deep in getting information of one sort or another. You know, it started off with conspiracy theory stuff, what you would call conspiracy theory, right? Stuff that, from stuff that might be happening but you can't properly prove it, to stuff that's absolutely not happening and there's no way of proving it because of that. And then you've got the end of things that get called conspiracy theorists, or people get called conspiracy theorists for talking about them, and they're actually truths. They are real things that have happened. You know, a group, you know, whether it's within a government or outside it, has performed a coup of some type on another country just to throw a dictator that was a dictator. See, look at that, right? Throw a leader, right, out that was getting in their way, that wasn't playing their ball game, right? Political warfare, like there's many names for it. That's not actually the one. It's like, you know, they'll block off resources and everything. Anyway, so we got many reasons to take this time to look into stuff, right? And I started out in that area that was a lot more fringy and beyond. And the thing that bored me pretty quick about what I actually call conspiracy theories, which is, and the reason why I say it like that is because I believe the derogative sentiment that's been put on conspiracy theories actually exists in an area. It's just in this far out fringe of like the information finders, right? And like, I'd say, yeah, they're like what you probably think of, or like what, you know, anyone, and I say you, because I do make these videos. I feel like I make these videos, especially when I watch them, and it's kind of my motivation, right, is to speak to people who aren't years into research. My aim is to hit people that aren't deep with research, so that I say the things that you can just have a quick look at it. And in a way, I am giving shortcuts, because I can talk about things and give reference to it. You can easily go and find and reference things and then be like, all right, fair enough. You know, and I might get something wrong. So then you can come back and be like, John, mate, you totally fucked up on that. And I'll be like, okay, fair enough. Let's make a video about it. I'll correct myself, and I'll go through whatever I go through. You know, because it's sharing is caring. It's growing. It's, you know, let's not. And there goes 15 minutes. Instagram's getting a short one. I had a feeling that was going to happen. But communication is about being prepared to be open, right? Communication is about not needing to be right and wrong, not needing to be clever or stupid. I've known people that have played stupid. It fucking happens. So my aim is to reach people that aren't full of information. So that, like I said, like I'm a middleman. I'm like, look, go check that out. Go jiggity check that out. Go tibbity tap that like button. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. So if we look at ourselves, we can analyse and we can find ways where we can develop and grow. Where I'm in a situation and I don't think like, oh, fucking hell, my mate thinks I'm blah, 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 and go on a rant and prove them right. Because in reality, they're not actually right that I'm a ranter. I do it, but I talk. And when I talk, I say a lot of words. It's like you want to paint a picture. I never want to just say something and it be some dull thing. I want to, you know, I write lyrics. Like I always loved writing stories at school as a kid. I just, you know, so I'm a story teller, right? You know, not in some like, you know, I am the mystical storyteller, although I am a bit of a wizard and I do have a wizard stick and it's behind the camera over there, but you can't see it just yet. It's got crystals hanging off it and all sorts. My mate Amy would say it's what is it? I forget. Some gangster hippie or some shit. Hats and hoodies and sticks and crystals and shit. Do you know what I mean? Sue me. I am what I am, and she is what she is, and you are what you are, and we should all be us, right? We shouldn't be afraid to be us. Like we shouldn't be afraid to go like, shit. Like I'm 40. I want to do this. I'm really going to make sure it happens. You know, I'm 39, I'm 38, or I'm 20, or I'm 18, I'm 60. And I'm thinking, shit, like, fuck, man. Like, 20 years, that's 80. I might not even be alive in 20 years. But so what? Like, my grandparents at 70 used to smack each other's asses and say, 21 till we're 21, 21 till we're 21. It's 21, right? Be soulful, be spirited. Don't be trapped by whatever you think life is. Like that's something I've been working for some time to get myself out of, and doing it fairly successfully, pre any fucking inheritance money, right? Which, you know, which was amazing. But I was already living in rented rooms under my means, spending a lot of time doing music. Like, you know, I was working my life so I could do that, and I was doing it. It was just, you know, don't try, do, you know? And that word, try, I've over many years been pulling that out of many parts of my vocabulary. It's a word that's got a place, but it's just where you use these words have the impact. It's like if words were magic, right? Because if you say you don't try, you do, absolutely. But if you say, oh, the other day I tried to pull this top off of a jar and I couldn't get it off, and my husband had to do it for me, you tried something, right? You can't say like try isn't. But so like where I go with vocabulary and with word placement is because it's internal teaching. What you actually say is actually a spell for what's going on inside. Right, so that's why I talk about being picky with your words and how you use them and how you place them, because actually you're telling yourself something, right? And that's no bullshit, right? You'll find that deep within any psychological, neuro-linguistics, behavioural programming pattern, anything. Like that's what you tell yourself is what you're programming yourself inside, which is why it's good to vocalize some things to like help yourself like reaffirming it. Doing it inside great. And as long as you're doing it, you're doing it. But, you know, it's why I'll openly correct a word or pull something back, because that really helps me. It brings it into the matter, and it's like it gives it form. You're like, right, bang, words bring form, right? So we bring a good future by talking about the solutions and picturing that good future. Self-awareness is key. I believe it. If it helped me, it can fucking help everyone. I was a bull in a china shop, like decimated by school, you know, rejected from pretty much every social circle for many years and many times. Like, you know, and I love being me. Not like I fucking love myself. I'm a stunner. We all know I'm no stig in the dump. But I'm no catwalk model either, right? So I'm a bit rough around the edges. I'm good with that. But this is a point, right? It's really getting to a place where you're good with yourself. And one of the things about being good with yourself means you're actually spending your time doing the things you want to do. You're taking the risks, going, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to do that. And not giving yourself any excuses, which is why I promote self-development. Because part of self-development is being honest with yourself and looking through the orange lens and going, okay, I am doing that, and just dedicating it, and just one thing, changing it. And as soon as that happens, like for me it was a bug, and for many it's just like, oh shit, I can do that. And then that I can do, that opens out a lot of gateways to what you can do, and you can achieve a lot. So there's always time, and there's always something we can do. We just have to choose to. Right, down in the links again is you know, numerous links to numerous groups. There's a Telegram group, a stand in the park. Wherever you are, go online. You may well have a local group. I'm not even talking just to English people. I know Australia, France, England, Germany, and England. I know for a fact in England, because I've been in the UK group, and it's national, man, and they've just got links all up and down the country. People go stand in parks and talk. It's perfect. That's what we need to do, is communicate, right? Anyway, I think we're good. 22 minutes, and I'm happy. We should watch ourselves, right? See how we can alter our things. Watch how we use our wordplay. And we'll create a better communication, right? I will create better communication by further working on myself. So, use force, my friends. Positive mental attitude. Be kind with your thoughts to yourselves like you would for others. Keep loving your hearts for yourselves like you would for others. Let's get it. Okay, watch on. Awareness, of course. Peace in.